All right, beautiful people. Welcome back to another amazing and impactful episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we share live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. And as usual, I have with me the beautiful, the smiling, the hoop earring wearing, the potluck community CEO, the hair curly and wrapped up like a crown herself. Please introduce yourself to the people.
What's up, party people? My name is Sinclair, aka
The
Health Nerd, and coming to you live on a Sunday.
What day is it?
Look, every time I'm like, shoot, what day is it? Sunday afternoon.
Indeed. And if you're watching on YouTube, first off, shout out to you for watching on YouTube. Definitely like and subscribe. We appreciate you. But you already see our new addition to the TH4 team, our multimedia intern and research associate, JD. What's popping? Welcome to your first episode. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, of course, man. We had a nice little hike last week, and introducing you more to the vision of TH4, what we're building here. You were able to walk us through your own personal journey. So definitely happy to have you on the team. You are a research student scholar. You were giving me all types of books to read. I was like, I'm not going to read all that, JD. Thanks for the book recommendations, but that's a lot of reading. But this is your first episode. Usually when we're on here, like the first few minutes, we like to just reflect about our week. And if you don't mind, you stepping into this for the first time, how was your week, JD? You can go ahead and kick us off, man.
My week was excellent. So I am now here in Texas, and I spent a few months in California living with family, and my parents moved here, and so now I'm here, essentially. So
nice. What's the weather like in Texas right now?
Oh, it's nice. It's not California weather, but it's
still
nice. I think we're in the 70s right now.
Yeah, no, that is good. Nice. Okay, yeah. Okay. I see you, Texas.
Well, I mean, that's my guess, to be honest. I know actually know. I'm not really good at detecting the weather, so.
What?
It landed yesterday, and the first thing that happened was my brother got me from the airport, and we went directly to the Ranger game at the new stadium.
Nice.
That's a great introduction back to the state.
Nice. And yeah, shout out to your brother, JT. What's up, JT? One of my groomsmen, you know what I'm saying? One of the suave spies that was on my groomsman team. We was a solid squad. The pictures come up on the screen sometime. I'm like, hey, squad. But anyway, Queen, how was your week? Updates or just reflections?
My week was good. I'm really trying to remember. I think it was just one of those weeks that just, it happened. It happened. Mm-hmm. It was semi-productive. Yeah, I don't have too much. Like, I'm trying to remember like something. Yeah, normally I have something.
You did go to the farmer's market yesterday.
Oh, I did. Thank you. I did go to the farmer's market yesterday in Calabasas. It was wonderful. Okay, so I'm one of those weird people. Like, I'm introverted, but I still like I'm an outgoing introvert. But like I like being by myself, but at the same time, like going out by myself gives me a little level of social anxiety.
Gotcha.
So there was part of me that's like, okay, you're gonna go to the farmer's market.
You got this
by yourself. I went by myself. But honestly, it was really fun because everybody's just in such a great mood. That was like the first thing I noticed, literally from the guy who I paid $4 for my parking to like the
Hey, $4 for parking? We didn't talk about this. Hold up now.
I might have been swindled. I don't even know. But long story short, I did not get a ticket. That's what's important. But yeah, everybody was just very nice. When you would like one, they're not like selling super hard. So like when you feel comfortable like walking by and checking out some vegetables without someone like, hey, buy my turnips,
Not the turnips.
So it was nice, but you could walk up, everybody was like, hey, how you doing today? Pretty much everybody was commenting on how hot it was because I think it caught everybody off guard. It was cooler during the morning and then it just got hot out of nowhere. But yeah, long story short, it was really fun. I got, we got some potatoes, got some garlic, got some Meyer lemons.
Yes, there we go. I was thinking what the name was.
You always get it wrong. What did you say yesterday? You
Lamar
said Lamar
Lemons.
Lamar Lemons. I was like, what is that?
Oh, man. Shout out to Lamar Odom.
I got some homemade Thai yellow curry paste and a recipe along with it, so I'm really excited about that.
Nice.
Got some like turmeric superfood blend. That's like they call it turmeric
the
latte.
Monkey sugar, was that from?
I love hearing his interpretations of the things that I buy.
You gotta stop laughing at me on this podcast. we bring in JD, and the first that you just laughing.
Monkey sugar. Monkey.
I've never being able to follow any of that. So
thank you. See, we're on the same page, JD.
It's because you call it monkey sugar. Nobody knows what that is. That's not a thing. Monk fruit is a fruit that is used as an alternative sweetener, much like dates. It is a low glycemic sweetener. We'll get into what that means in the podcast. But long story short, it's just a good alternative for regular like table sugar. It's healthier for you. So I did get a bag of that. That was not from the farmer's market. That was from Costco. Gotcha. Shout out to Costco. And then the last thing I got from the farmer's market was seafood. I wasn't necessarily expecting to see that there, but there was a couple different vendors selling like, fresh local seafood. So got some mussels and some sushi grade salmon. So nice. We're going to be using that salmon today for something. Yeah. Maybe some either as an appetizer, like some sashimi, or maybe we'll do a full sushi. I'm not sure yet, but that's what I got, and I was excited.
Nice.
And I did not have any awkward moments.
Well done, Queen. We're proud of you for being by yourself.
Thank you. And on that note, how about you, Devon?
For me, my week was pretty okay. I feel like it wasn't a great week. There was a lot of work stuff I needed to do. So yeah, it's a struggle when the work takes you away from the dream.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you're working your 9 to 5, which is good. Blessed to have a job. I do love my job at times, so that's good as well. But it's also a little bit of a struggle when you're working this, but it's like the dream though. There's some stuff to get done. So all in all, it was an okay week. I don't have any, I think, notable things or accomplishments that I got done this week. Other than actually, last week, remember we were talking about the Fitbit challenge. And how James B kept on beating us. This week, I was able to win the Fitbit challenge. Yes. That was
by a landslide, by a good 10,000 steps.
Yeah, by a good 10,000. The Queen got second. I see you. You know what I'm saying? Up in here. It was also cool because this was the first week that I started waking up early to work out with you intentionally. So I feel like that was good to be able to wake up at
5:30, 5:45. Yup.
Terrible.
It's still dark outside.
Yeah, but to wake up that early and then start, working out. And this is not an attack on you, Sinclair.
Here we go.
What? What?
When you got to start off like that, this is not an attack.
It's not an attack, okay?
But
you suck. However, I'm not gonna say you suck. However, I feel like sometimes, and we talked about this on our podcast episode last week, on how sometimes you need to do your own research and find out things for yourself and not just believe whatever someone's saying. So there was a time, and when you said it, it was possible that it was true. So that's why I'm saying it's not an attack. But there was a time when I was like, oh, how come you don't run in the morning? How come you don't walk in the morning? You're like, Devon, at 5:30 when I wake up at 6 o'clock, it is pitch black outside. It is pitch black. You can't see nothing. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, if it's pitch black, then yeah, to be safe, don't run, don't walk. Y'all, I wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's for sure.
It is okay. Black. Please stop. It is not. It is not. It is not light at 5:30. At 6 o'clock, that's how daylight savings works. It gets lighter as the days go on. So, anyways, initially, yes, it was dark all the way until 6:30 when I got in the car because I would be driving to work and watching the sun come up. But no, now it's light much earlier. You are right.
Yeah, so we were able to wake up together, go on our runs, our walks, do our squats and our lunges together, come back, do a little bit of functional mobility that she led, and I just kind of watched and mirrored the best I could. So I think workout wise and kind of just as a unit, this was a good week to be able to wake up together, work out together, stay fitness together, get first place, second place on here. So yeah, that was cool. I like that. Right. Sorry, Queen. But can we do a podcast today?
I guess.
Is that okay? JD, is that okay for you? Can we do a podcast?
I'm running out of time.
You're running out of time? All right. Busy research assistant over there, man. I understand. I understand. So, if you didn't know, 1 in 10 Americans are diagnosed with diabetes. It's wild.
I'm surprised. Right? I thought it was higher.
I definitely thought it was higher. I think obviously when you zoom into particular communities, for instance, the Black community, we are 60% more likely to get diagnosed with diabetes. So 1 in 10, if you do the one, it's like probably 1 in 3 for African Americans. Don't know what it is for the API community or Latinx community, but assume it's most likely higher than that 1 in 10. So today we want to talk a little bit about just diabetes awareness, some things that you can do to avoid, or maybe not avoid, but reduce your chances of even getting diabetes. But then also, if you have it, if you're living with it, type 1, type 2, there's all the way to type 3, type 4. Like there's
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Like we were doing some research, shout out to, again, our research associate on there. And we were just like, what? There's more than 2 types?
Right.
So yeah.
That's scary indeed as itself, that hopefully that's not a trend that will continue, that we'll have type 5 and 6. Like that's scary.
Yeah, even as a diabetic, I did not know that.
Right, just found that out. It's crazy. But long story short, we want to give some folks some tactical steps, some action plans. Again, if you're living with it currently, or if you're trying to make sure that you are not the one to also get it. So, you ready? Without further ado, let's get into the episode. So first off, really quickly, just in case people aren't aware of what diabetes is, right? Don't want to make any assumptions. Can one of you amazing, intelligent people just break down basically what is diabetes? Oh, JD, you want to take? Okay, come on, you diving into the podcast. Go ahead.
Well, so diabetes is a disease where basically people have difficulty managing blood sugar. So I'm type 1. So that means that my pancreas does not produce insulin, and insulin is what brings your blood sugar down. So if I eat food and there's carbohydrates in it, your pancreas naturally creates insulin and it will bring the sugar to a normal level, or keep it at a normal level. Mine doesn't work. So my blood sugar will go really high. So I have to use manufactured insulin, and that's why I'm type 1. Type 2 is for people who it still somewhat works, but because of unhealthy lifestyle they may live, or maybe they're overweight, they can kind of get it, and then they have to make lifestyle changes to go, back to healthy.
Nice. And I like that. And for type 2 specifically, you mentioned like it is lifestyle changes that you can make. So for type 2, lifestyle changes can, get you the diagnosis, but lifestyle changes can also reverse that diagnosis. And that's some of the things that we're going to talk about today. Specifically for type 2, I know the Queen has done some research into type 1 as well. But there it is. One more thing that I want to note is you said carbohydrates, but then you talked about diabetes and sugar. So for people listening, can you talk about how the different things that you eat, how those may break down and impact your blood sugar level?
Yeah, for sure.
And the Queen is here to support you.
Yeah.
At any time.
I would need to actually brushing up on the exact differences between sugar and carbohydrates, but I will say that there are definitely different types of carbohydrates, and even sugars for that matter, that really affect your blood sugar in different ways. So if I were to eat like Skittles or something, my blood sugar right away will go very high, and like within minutes, very quickly. But if I were to eat something that's like low, like basically slow, long-lasting carbohydrates, it's more likely to gradually go up over time. And so this is why you should be strategic with what you eat and whatnot. I think Sinclair should take the sugar portion of the question.
Yeah.
Oh, she's happy to do it. You saw the big old smile. She was like, "Pass it to me, JD. I got you."
Or is it? It's
the stick
the back
for the relay?
Yeah.
Yes.
I got you.
There you go.
Okay, so like he mentioned, when you eat carbohydrates, kind of the connection to the sugar aspect is your body breaks down anything with carbohydrates down into glucose molecules, and glucose is a type of sugar. So it really doesn't matter what type of carbohydrates it is, it's going to get broken down into glucose, which is sugar. So of course it's not that sugar is sugar, right? He mentioned there are different types of sugar that affect your body very differently. So like the things that are more high glycemic are going to, like he said, like the Skittle, candy,
sucrose,
sure.
I feel like those are probably sucrose.
Yeah, probably. We'd have to look it up. But yeah, sucrose, those are going to spike your blood sugar very quickly, which means you eat it, and like he said, within minutes, your blood sugar is going to spike up. Whereas like sugar from like fruits or vegetables,
fructose.
Exactly. But mostly like vegetables. Vegetables are still carbohydrates. They still do break down into sugar, but they are going to have a more gradual increase, like you mentioned, which is better. You want to, try to avoid having those spikes all day, rather than having a more stable kind of insulin and blood sugar level. But I did just want to touch on one additional thing that he said, and kind of the how it happens, because I think that's cool to put some visual to it. So long story short, you eat the carbohydrates, your body turns it into glucose molecules. Now you have glucose molecules in your blood. Insulin's job is to take those glucose molecules and bring them to your cells, so that you can use that energy later on. So that's why when you have type 1 diabetes, your body doesn't produce the insulin. So that's why you're left with, glucose in your blood sugar, which causes the high blood sugar readings, right? If you have glucose in your blood, but there's nothing to keep it in check, then now you just have extra sugar in your blood.
Is that why? I remember one time, this was family reunion in like Alabama. One of my cousins, Jaleesa, RIP, she has diabetes, and like she was just tired. And I remember as a kid, like I didn't understand it. Like she had like just eaten food, and then she was just sitting there just tired. And you were saying how if you have type 1, the insulin takes the sugar and puts it into your cells so that you can have energy, right? You can be awake, the cells can use it. But if all that gas, all that energy is there, but it's never basically put into the tank, you're going to always be tired because you don't have access to the gas.
And the other thing to keep in mind is if you have a spike is characterized by a sharp increase and a sharp decrease. So that's probably what you were seeing, right? It does increase, but that means you're also going to have a crash at some point. That's where like the itis comes in, because you also are going to have a time where you're now depleted. But yeah, to your point, it really kind of depends on the situation and which type they have. But yeah.
Gotcha. So I do have a follow-up question, and it is semi-related to the itis, but glycemic index, right? And this is how I'm sure y'all be able to break it down even better. But like which food is high in sugar, which food is low in sugar. Can one of y'all break down what is the glycemic index, and then maybe some foods that are high, like very high on the glycemic index that would cause the itis, and then other foods that may be better or lower on the glycemic index?
I don't know if you want to take that, or you want me to take that, JD?
Get started and get back to the specifics, but so basically, glycemic index is it's basically a scale between 1 and 100 of how a food affects your blood sugar. So if it's a 100, then it's pure sugar. So basically, if it's very high, close to 100, then it's more likely to be pure sugar. I guess that doesn't mean it is pure sugar, just how it affects your blood sugar and how the pure sugar affects your blood sugar. So like low glycemic foods, they can still be high carb, like a potato is high carb, but it's low glycemic. It doesn't mean that, or something like berries, which does indeed have sugar and whatnot, but it's low glycemic. So it's very good for diabetics to get those sugars that we do need. Like we do need sugar in our body, just like what you said, for our cells, and to get energy and not feel fatigued, not feel dehydrated, to, not get a headache. Like it's very important to control foods. Everything is very important, but it's important to pick the right kinds of sugar. So maybe you can elaborate more on that.